And then I normally take this over and dump it out in the yard. Doesn't hurt anything. So the instructions are pretty simple there. They're laminated as well. Don't worry about them getting wet. Mix it out a little bit.
That kit will last me for the whole season, or?
Yeah, and then if you run out of these solutions, you can just buy these solutions separate.
Separate?
Yep.
Walmart?
Preferably not. The H2 or the HTH chemicals are junk. I mean junk.
Okay.
Like probably 95% of it's filler.
Where do I get it from? Where do you recommend?
Our pool store, or just call me and I'll drop you some off.
Okay.
They're very cheap. They're maybe $1 a solution. Okay, so now we're going to do the pH, okay? So we did number 1. We know it's high. We're going to do the pH. Now on here, it says pH and acid demand. You're going to fill it to that line. Same thing. You're going to airlock it. You're going to go down a foot. We're going to get it right on the line. Okay. Now we're going to add 1 drop of solution 4.
So from 1 to 4?
Yes. And then we'll go back to 2.
Oh, these are the instructions here?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. So fill a large vial to the solid line. And then add 1 drop of solution 4.
Over there we added 5 drops?
Yeah, and it says it there, add 5
5
drops of solution 1. And then we're going to add 5 drops of number 2 is the next step. Now that one's a little bit bigger. You can't really hold your finger on it, so they do make a cap for both of them. I always use the cap on the big one. If I can get it out of there. There is a cap for the small one as well. And then you shake it up. And then again, you want to match the colors. Okay.
So that's the top one, right?
Yep. You'd be at an 8.2. Okay. Ideal is 7.6 to 7.2. So when the chlorine's high, when it comes down, generally the pH will come down with it.
Okay.
All right. So again, the chlorine always has to be ideal before we can make any adjustments.
Right. And for my solar, just a reminder, for the salt, it should be around 1.5?
1.0 to 1.5.
For mine. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, is ideal. If you run it at 3.0, you're overworking that salt cell, which you're taking more hours away from it, which is not going to last as long.
Okay.
All right. So there's nothing we can do right now. And generally with the salt system, if you can get 7, 8 on your pH, okay, that's pretty good. Okay, salt systems generally run high in pH. All right, so the ideal range is 7.2 to 7.6, but if you get 7, 8, don't worry about it. If you get 8.2, then go ahead and bring it down a little bit. If your chlorine's good, your pH.
How?
With pH decreaser. It's a chemical that you can buy, a pH decreaser. All right. And again, if you need it, I can run it home to you. The night you need it. Just let me know.
Like, and we are talking about a big amount. If I want to decrease it.
To go from 8.2 to 7.6 in this size pool, maybe a pound. Honestly.
So like it's kind of powder bag.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And you want it to be around 7, 8.
Yeah, that's what a salt system generally runs at, but ideal is 7.2 to 7.6.
Okay.
All right.
So you will be happy if you see a number anywhere here.
Yep. Okay. Anywhere from these middle 3. If you're happy with that. If it's down under 6.8, you need to add pH, which is add pH increaser. Okay.
So that's opposite than what you just told me a little.
Yeah.
So pH increaser and pH decreaser.
Yeah, pH decreaser if it's high to lower it. pH increaser if it's low to bring it back up.
Okay. But as for now, our problem is here, and once we fix that, it will go to
Yes, these will fluctuate, to more balanced.
Cool. Is that almost all of it?
There's one more. One more. We got to do an alkalinity test. Your alkalinity should be between 12 and 17 drops. And you'll see what I'm talking about whenever we do it. It doesn't tell you on there. It doesn't give you a chart. You just got to kind of remember that. So your alkalinity is your lower line here. It says alkalinity. Okay, so we're going to get down to the lower line here. Alright, so we're at the lower line. Okay, I'm going to set it down for a second. We're going to add 1 drop of solution 4 again. And then we're going to add 1 drop of solution 5. And then you want to take solution 3, okay, and you want to put 1 drop in at a time while you're swirling it until it turns to a yellowish color. See how it's blue? Alright, we're going to put 1 drop in at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. See how it's still a little blue tint? 8. Still see some blue lingering. 9. Until it turns yellow. You're at 9. Okay, so the alkalinity is low because you want to be between 12 and 17
drops.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you're under 12, you're low. Okay. If you're above 17, you're high.
So between 12 and 17.
Correct.
And how much did you drop?
9.
9. So we are low.
We are low, but pH is high. Again, you can't do anything until the chlorine is ideal because these are going to fluctuate. Okay.
Right.
All right. So again, it doesn't tell you how many drops or what. A lot of people will take a permanent marker and they'll write 12-17 and they'll know that that's good.
So, okay, I will, well, I just recorded that.
Yeah.
12 to 17.
Yep. And that's basically how you test your water, and then you make adjustments from there. If the chlorine's good, your pH is good, and your alkalinity is low, all right, then we put alkalinity increaser in it.
Oh, so there's pH increaser and decreaser, and there's alkaline increaser.
Correct. And in the pH decreaser, will lower your alkalinity and your pH, depending on how you add it.
So it's important to start with the chlorine, then the pH, and then the alkaline.
Correct.
And we fix the one before first.
Correct. This is the foundation. You can't build a house without foundation.
Got it.
Okay? So you got to have this ideal before you even worry about adjusting these.
Okay. So the problem today is too much chlorine.
Correct. Correct.
Cool.
So it's still swimmable, okay? But we're going to go ahead and turn it down. Give it 2 days, okay? With this heat coming in, it's going to draw the chlorine out. All right, give it 2 days and test it again. If it's still high, then turn it down a couple more percent.
Yeah, we will see now how to do it.
Yep. So kind of you got to play with it to get your percentage right.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's all recorded. That's cool.
It's pretty simple once you get the hang of it. So we scrub the walls, basically hand vacuum, which obviously we don't need to do. That Prowler's got it spotless. And I always rinse this out just to make sure all the chemicals out of it from the drops. I leave the caps off so it'll air dry. And then just put it in there, caps next to it, lid on, got a little button. It's ready to go.
Cool.
Okay?
Thank you.
So we brush the walls. If you have to hand vacuum, we hand vacuum. We test the chemicals. Alright? The next step I do is I do all the pool side first, and then I go over to the pump and filter and do that part. We'll have to empty the skimmer baskets. Alright? But you may have to do this more than once a week.